right, let's just get right into it. Picture this. It's a Monday morning, you've got your coffee, you're scrolling through the markets, and, everything looks fine. It's calm. But what no one sees is that underneath that calm surface, a perfect storm is brewing. Something huge is about to break in the heart of crypto, and by the time anyone figures it out, it's going to be way too late. And that's the price tag. Over $500 million, just gone. And we're not talking about over a year or a month. This happened in one single week. This wasn't some simple smash and grab. No. This was something way more complex and way more dangerous. You see, what happened that week wasn't just about the money disappearing. It was about the first domino being pushed over, kicking off a chain reaction that came dangerously close to bringing the whole system down. It forced everyone, and I mean everyone, to completely reevaluate how risk even works in this crazy interconnected world. So how did it all start? How did the chaos really kick off? Well, it all began with two massive, incredibly clever, and, this is the important part, deeply connected attacks. Think of them as two masterstrokes that set the stage for all the madness that was about to unfold. Now, take a look at this, because the way these attacks went down is just brilliant. On one hand, you had the Drift protocol, hit for a whopping $285 million. And this wasn't just some tech nerd finding a bug. It was a hybrid attack. They targeted people first, using social engineering to get in, and then they exploited the code. But on the other hand, the second major blow, almost $300 million from a cross-chain bridge. And this one was totally different. It was an attack on the system's plumbing, using a really clever trick called ghost money. So what in the world is ghost money? Well, think of it like this. It's basically counterfeit cash for the crypto world. The attacker literally created fake tokens, worthless, backed by nothing, but they found a vulnerability that let them trick a system into thinking these fake tokens were real, legitimate assets. And with that little trick, they basically forged a key to unlock their next, much bigger target. And here's where things get really serious. See, this attacker was smart. They didn't just grab the money and run. Oh no. They used the winnings from one heist to start a massive fire in a completely different, much larger part of the ecosystem. The contagion was about to spread. Their next target was Aave, one of the biggest lending platforms in all of DeFi. And the plan was just perfect. Step one, they took that worthless ghost money and deposited it as if it were real collateral. Step two, using that fake collateral as a guarantee, they borrowed hundreds of millions of dollars in real money. And then, step three, they just walked away with all the real assets and vanished, leaving Aave holding the bag on a massive uncollectible debt. And this is the absolute key takeaway. Aave itself wasn't hacked. Its code was totally secure. It was a solid protocol. But it didn't matter. It was simply caught in the crossfire because a different protocol it was connected to had failed. And right there, that's a perfect illustration of this brand new type of systemic risk. But honestly, the Aave situation was just the tip of the iceberg. While everyone was freaking out about these two huge hacks, the entire system was quietly bleeding out from 1,000 little cuts. I mean, look at this. You had a constant drip of other attacks happening at the same time. And this list doesn't even begin to cover all the unreported phishing scams and wallet hacks that were hitting people every single day. It was chaos. So when you piece it all together, a really clear picture starts to form. We've moved past the days when the only question that mattered was, is this one protocol secure? That's the old way of thinking. The new, far more important question is, what happens if a partner or a bridge or some random asset connected to this protocol suddenly fails? Okay, so that's a pretty harsh new reality, right? But it's not hopeless. Look, you can't control the whole system. But what you can do is seriously reduce your own personal risk. So let's get into the good stuff. Your 5 golden rules for surviving in this new world. All right, let's break these down because this is probably the most important part of this whole thing. Rule 1, separate your funds. It's all about creating firewalls. Have a cold wallet for your serious stash, a hot wallet for your normal stuff, and a burner wallet for trying out new risky protocols. That way, if one gets hit, the damage is contained. Rule 2, never, and I mean never, blind sign a transaction. Scammers are pros at getting you to approve permissions that give them the keys to your entire wallet. Just take 2 seconds. Read what you're signing. If it's asking to set approval for all, that is a giant red flag. Rule 3 is old school, but it's more important than ever. Avoid phishing. Bookmark the sites you use all the time. Scammers can make fake websites that look exactly like the real thing. Don't ever click links from social media DMs or sketchy emails. Just go straight to your bookmark. Rule 4, use a hardware wallet. Seriously. For any amount of money you would be upset to lose, get it offline. It keeps your private keys completely off the internet, making it basically impossible for a hacker to get to them. And finally, Rule 5, the one that trumps all the others, use common sense. If some new thing is promising you 1,000% return and it sounds way too good to be true, it is. It's a trap, every single time. So, what's the big lesson here? What did we all learn from that crazy week? Well, what we saw wasn't just a series of unfortunate events. It was the world getting a front row seat to a whole new kind of risk. A risk that's baked into a system where everything is connected to everything else. And that right there is the core idea. In today's DeFi, attacks are contagious. They can literally jump from one protocol to another, taking everyone down with them. An attacker doesn't have to break the whole system anymore. They just have to find the one right piece to break and watch the dominoes fall. Because of this, the whole game has changed. Winning in this space is no longer just about who can find the highest yield. It's about who actually understands the risks they're taking and manages them before they blow up in their face. Which really brings us to the final thought. In this new, wild, and sometimes chaotic phase of DeFi, the goal isn't always to get rich quick. Sometimes just making it through to the next day, surviving, is a massive advantage all on its own.